Alright, this video is about the Pythagorean theorem. So let's imagine that we want to get to the movie theater from Goshen Middle School, right? Goshen Middle School is way down here, and the Linway Plaza is way up here. How long would that take us to go walking? What's the distance? So the distance on Indiana from Goshen Middle School to the corner is actually 0.9 miles. And then the distance from that corner to Linway is 0.3. So that's a total of 1.2 miles walking. But what if we could be a little more creative? What if we could take a jetpack, right? How would you get from the middle school to Linway? Would you go up and then over, or would you take what may seem like the shorter distance? Would you take the diagonal to go straight there without any turns? So, I'm curious, what is that distance of that diagonal? Alright, so Pythagorean theorem is based on some things that you know. It was by a guy named Pythagoras from the 6th century, so really, really long time. He's one of the very first mathematicians, and he used math to kind of understand the world around him. Okay, so it's all based on right triangles. Okay, if you know two sides of a right triangle, you are able to find a third. So, right triangles are special in the sense that they all have this right angle, right? So the longest side in is the hypotenuse. That's side C, and it's opposite the right angle. So this is the right angle, and the hypotenuse, I know, such a weird name, is the angle across from it. The side across from it is called the hypotenuse. And then the right angle always points towards the hypotenuse. That's how you can always find the hypotenuse. Find the right angle and it doesn't touch the hypotenuse. The sides that do touch it are called the legs. And these are leg A and leg B. Okay? So, Pythagoras, this mathematician, he actually developed a formula so that we can find the sides of any right triangle. Now, it does have to be a right triangle. Okay? So, this is the formula. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared, and it's the same thing as C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. If you notice, we just switched where the equal sign is. Okay? This is a diagram of what he means by this, but do not worry about this right now. Okay? This video is more so that you get an introduction to this. So if you see it, then you can be like, oh yeah, I remember a little bit about it. Not that I'm expecting you to master this. So, let's try an example. If I look on my triangle, it says find x. What do I mean by that? This is not what I mean. Nope, we're actually going to find the value for x, right? So, what do I think the missing side could be? Well, I think it is the hypotenuse. Why? Because it's the side that's opposite this right angle. And I know that's the hypotenuse. I also know that it's the longest side. So it should be bigger than 6 and 10. So I'm going to use my formula, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. And I'm going to substitute in what I do know. I know that this is leg A, and this is leg B. Right? So now I have c squared, which I'm trying to find, right? Because the hypotenuse, this is the hypotenuse, is side C. Alright, so I have c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Oh, and I already wrote that, so I'm not going to write it again. I'm going to substitute in what my values that I do know. I know that a is equal to 6, and so I need to drop down that little 2. And b is equal to 8, so I'm going to drop down that little 2. And now I have c squared is equal to 6 times 6, which is 36, plus 8 squared, which is equal to 8 times 8, which is equal to 64. So now I have c squared is equal to 36 plus 64, which gives me 100. Alright, this is the trickiest part. I have to get c squared by itself, but I still have this exponent, so I want to get c by itself, right? That means that I'm going to take the inverse operation of an exponent, which is the squared root. So I'm going to take a square root of both sides, because what I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. So that means this little square root cancels out this exponent, and I'm left with c. Okay, and if I put the square root of 100 into a calculator, I get 10, and that's my answer. So the hypotenuse C is equal to 10. All right, let's do one more example. We're going to do one that's a little bit harder, because that was a nice even number. Let's try this one. I notice here that the hypotenuse is missing because it's right across from the right angle. So I have, this is my hypotenuse, C. Alright, so I'm going to fill this in. I have leg A and leg B, and honestly, A and B, it doesn't matter which order they go in because we're just going to be adding them. So I have C squared is equal to 10 squared plus 9 squared. Okay, now C squared is equal to 10 times 10, which gives me 100, and 9 times 9, which gives me 81. So now I have to add those two together, and I do 100 plus 81 gives me 181. And now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. If you're copying this down, pause this video now because I'm about to erase it because I have to go to the calculator. Okay? Let's try this. Alright, so I'm going to put the square root of 181. And I get, right, there's my answer, 13.45362405. And notice how it just keeps on going on and on. Well, I'm still just going to do 13.4, and let's round it to the nearest hundredth. The 3 tells the 5 to stay put, so 3.45. And that's my answer. Now it is rounded, it isn't exact. The exact answer would be the square root of 181, leave it in that format, or you could say this is approximately 13.45. Hopefully this video helped understand a little bit about this. If you're still confused, that's okay. I totally expect you to be. Hopefully this helps. Try out IXL and let me know.